Welcome to the 12th module in the Learning Simio Lab series. In this module, we focus on defining and using custom objects. And so for our objectives and outline, the objectives are to continue learning basic Simio modeling, to learn to create custom objects, and we're going to use two methods in this module. We're going to use the hierarchical method, and then we will use the processor-based object definition to do that. In terms of an outline, we're going to start with the hierarchical objects, and there are two videos on that. And video 3 will be on using the processor object definition, followed by the assignment that you'll have in video 4. So before we get started with the particular videos, recall that a Simio object is comprised of the external view, which is what the user sees when they place on the facility view, an interface, which is the properties and states and events, and then finally the logic that defines the behavior of an object. So whether you're building custom objects or you're using Simio objects from the standard library, it has the same basic structure. Now, the thing I want to mention here before we get started is this idea of entry and exit nodes. And you can see I have two different types of objects. One is called process logic, the other is called object logic. The object logic will correspond to what we see in the hierarchical method. The process logic we'll see we'll see in our later video for the processor object. And so in both cases we specify that entities flow into our object through an input node and then leave our object from the output node in both cases. In the object logic, the input node maps to a facility node, whereas in the process logic, the input node maps to a process station, which again, we will see the details when we get into the video. One final note before we get started is that there is actually a third way to create, or third common way to create objects, and that's by using subclassing, where I would subclass an existing object definition. We're not going to do that in this module. That's something that you can look up in the online help or in the Simio help, and it may be a topic of a future module.